Hello, dear listeners, and welcome to today's TSF1 GREECE Podcast, together with my co-host Panos. Good evening, Panos.
Good evening, Alex.
So, today we are covering the amazing race of the 24 Hours of Le Mans, which actually this year became a century old, 100 years of the race. So, as we keep the format in Formula 1, we will do the same on this podcast. So, Panos will start and cover the whole qualifying session. I will continue with our notes from the race, and we have a bit of a small piece of news at the end regarding the LMP2 class for 2024. So, Panos, the podcast is yours.
Thank you, Alex. So, as Alex said, half a century has passed since the last time Ferrari was at the forefront of the 24 Hours of Le Mans. After a stunning performance on Thursday's hyperpole qualifying, Antonio Fuoco brings this dry spell to triumphant and clinching a sensational pole position and securing a front row dominance for the renowned Italian team Ferrari AF Corse and state-of-the-art Ferrari 499P hypercars. The incredible performance exhibited by Fuoco and his teammate Alessandro Pier Guidi during the 30-minute hyperpole session truly set the bar high. Pier Guidi kick-started the session with a blazing 3:23.897 on his flying lap in the 51 Ferrari, only to be nearly outshone by Fuoco, who clocked in at 3:23.905 within an inch of his older teammate. However, the excitement didn't end there. After a pit stop and a tire change, both Ferraris returned to the track for a second round. Guidi again showed glimpses of the true potential of the 499P, but unfortunately his 3:23.478 was struck off due to crossing the white line at karting corner. But this only served to intensify the spotlight on Fuoco, and he did not disappoint. Navigating his way around Yorica Tsuguico GTE class Ferrari 488 at the worst horrible moment, Fuoco managed to clock in an inspiring 3:22.982. The session was not without drama. The number 3 Cadillac Racing VS Series R of local Le Mans hero Sebastian Bourdais suddenly came to a halt, bursting into flames. Bourdais managed to escape the incident unscratched as marshals quickly contained the fire. But the incident led to one of the many red flags, disrupting the flow of the session. When things resumed, neither of the two Toyota Gazoo Racing GR010 hybrids could upset the two Ferraris, leaving the front row all to Ferrari. In this historic moment, harking back to Arturo Merzacio's pole victory in the Ferrari 312 personal PB in the 1973, it's now Fuoco in the number 50 that is making waves in company with co-drivers Miguel Molina and Nicolas Nielsen. Fuoco's lap was nearly a full second faster than the previous qualifying lap record, set in the young history of the Le Mans hypercar class, 3:23.900 by the Toyota GR010 hybrid in 2021. As they said, it's an unbelievable experience that I still can't fully comprehend, Fuoco said after the session. I was quite concerned when I saw the car between Indianapolis and Arnage, but I realized I didn't lose much time, so it was good. And then I had a couple of LMP2s in front, but they were on an outlap, so they moved. Overall, it was a pretty clean lap. Fuoco and his team now look forward to the main event, ready to face the grueling 24-hour endurance race. His teammate, Pier Guidi, managed to better his time to 3:23.755, securing second place on the grid alongside with his co-drivers James Calado and Antonio Giovinazzi. The rest of the field tried their best to catch up, with Brendan Hartley timing in with a 3:24.451 at the checkered flag to put him, Sebastian Buemi and Ryo Hirakawa, last year's winning trio, third on the grid. Porsche Penske Motorsport made a late change with Felipe Nasser placing the 75 Porsche 963 fourth on the grid. Kamui Kobayashi's lap of 3:24.933 secured the number 7 Toyota, a fifth place start. In the LMP2 class now, the Delage sponsored number 48 IDEC Sport Oreca 07 Gibson of Paul Loop, took pole position with a swift time of 3:32.923, narrowly beating out Pietro Fittipaldi in the number 28 Jota Oreca. In the LMGTE AM class, Ben Keating and his Corvette C8R will lead the pack after an immersive pole position of 3:52.376. With this historic achievement, the stage is now set for an exciting 24 hours of Le Mans. The question remains, can Ferrari maintain their newfound momentum and turn this pole position into a victory? Alex, what do you think, Ferrari?
I guess at that point, when we were taking the notes, we finished it by writing only time will tell. So let's finish with qualifying and move to the race and see if it really, what did time tell at the end of the day.
So, next, let's focus on some standout performances. In the Hyperpole, Pier Guidi, as we said, delivered the 3:23.755 performance in the 51 sister car. The effort solidified his place as the second fastest driver on the grid, along with co-drivers James Calado and Antonio Giovinazzi. The number 8 Toyota, piloted by Brendan Hartley, finished third on the grid with a time of 3:27.451. Hartley and his teammates Sebastian Buemi and Ryo Hirakawa are certainly no strangers to the podium. They clinched the victory in the last year's race. However, their hopes of a Toyota 1-2 finish were dashed. Porsche Pesche Motorsports, which decided to skip the first half of Hyperpole, saw Felipe Nasser steering the 75 Porsche 963 into fourth place on the grid with a time of 3:24.531. He shares this third car with fellow IMSA GTP drivers Matthew Jaminet and Nick Tandy. Kamui Kobayashi, driving the number 7 Toyota, rounded out the top 5 with a time of 3:24.933. There was a heartbreak for Sébastien Bourdais, who was looking good in the early stages of the session until his number 3 Cadillac caught on fire. Despite initially sitting third on the timesheets, the red flag resulted in the loss of his first lap of 3:27.908, sending him down to 8th place at the finish. So, looking at the LMP2 class, the pole position went to the Delage-sponsored number 48 IDEX Sport Oreca 07 Gibson of Paul Loop Chatin. The Frenchman stole the show with a time of 3:32.923, edging out Pietro Fittipaldi in the number 28 Jota Oreca. Fittipaldi made one last ditch attempt to top Chatin, but his time of 3:33.035 fell just short, a mere 0.112 seconds off the pace. This sets the stage for an intense race with 24 strong LMP2 cars, with Luis de la Trace in the number 41 Team WRT Oreca and Resal de Guerrouj in the number 47 Cool Racing Oreca rounding out the top 4. Last but not least, in the LMGTE AM amateur category, as we said, Ben Keating and his C8 secured pole position. Keating outpaced the competition, improving his fastest lap to 3:52.376. He will lead the 91st edition of the 24 Hours of Le Mans, a proud moment for the Corvette racing team.
And now, indeed he did. So,
exactly. The
focusing now, as time told us, going to the race. I think first of all we have to say that it is a pretty historic moment for Ferrari. It was 50 full years, 5 decades until they won Le Mans. So, Panos, thank you very much for the extensive qualifying coverage. Now let's focus on the race. So, the crowning jewel in Ferrari's motorsport legacy has just become a bit more radiant with their decisive victory at the centenary edition of the 24 Hours of Le Mans. This event, being one of the most venerated in the motorsport history, has been conquered by the Italian stallion once more, an achievement that has eluded them for almost 60 years. At the helm of the historic victory was the team of Alessandro Pier Guidi, James Calado and Antonio Giovinazzi, all experienced racers who piloted the number 51 Ferrari AF Corse 499P, the manufacturer's latest entry in the realm of endurance sports car racing. So this win came as a result of a perfect storm of circumstances. Ferrari's decision to return to the premier class of endurance sport car racing in 2023, after being absent for around 5 decades, built up immense anticipation. Coupled with this was the performance of the 499P, which came together in the most opportune ways to deliver a storybook victory in what is often dubbed as the race of the century. This is the 10th overall win for Ferrari at Le Mans and the first since 1965, when Masten, Gregory and Jochen Rindt drove their North American racing team NART Ferrari 250 LM, Le Mans, standing for Le Mans, to victory. That was during a time when Ferrari was a dominant force in motorsport, and this latest win brings back memories of those halcyon days. The victory wasn't without challenges though. The Le Mans is notorious for testing drivers' endurance, skill and definitely concentration to the utmost level, and the 2023 edition was no exception to the rule. The race was impacted by an intermittent rain showers causing treacherous driving conditions, a number of incidents and numerous safety car interventions. As Pano said, during qualifying in the Hyperpole, it wasn't the only time we saw a red flag. Even Pier Guidi, who had been almost impeccable throughout the race, made a small mistake 8 hours in. At the first Mulsanne chicane, he spun off, an error that dropped the team to 4th place. He later commented on his slip-up, saying, "To be honest, it was a difficult moment. I tried to avoid a collision, I went on the wet, and I went in the gravel trap. But the team rallied, and with a quick recovery by the marshals, they were soon back on track without losing a lap. Further challenges came in the form of technical difficulties. The number 51 Ferrari had a couple of occasions where it wouldn't fire up immediately after finishing a pit stop, including a worrying moment with just 6 hours to go. The car needed a full reset, and for a moment it seemed like the race was over as their nearest rival raced off into the lead. However, they fought back, proving once again the resilience and indomitable spirit that has always been a trademark of Ferrari's racing heritage. They managed to start the car back up and continued racing, even facing another moment of uncertainty on the last pit stop with half an hour left when the car took time to start up. This win marks the pinnacle of Pier Guidi's career, who had honed his skills through GT racing with Ferrari customer teams, including AF Corse. Alongside him was Calado, another experienced racer with whom Pier Guidi had won the GTE Pro class with AF Corse in the years 2019 and 2021. They were joined by Giovinazzi, the least experienced of the trio in endurance racing, but a vital contributor to the team's success. As the checkered flag waved and the Ferrari team claimed the victory, it marked a defining moment in the motorsport history, not just for Ferrari, returning to its former glory about Formula 1 was that coughing, but for all the drivers who have now etched their names in the annals of the Le Mans history. Ferrari's sister car, the number 50 of AF Corse, also ran a strong race but ultimately had to settle for third behind the lead Toyota. Toyota's chances took a hit when their lead driver Hirakawa had an incident around the 6th-hour mark, which dropped them down the order. Despite the spotlight on Ferrari, other manufacturers made an impression too. Porsche, with their 963, had a tough year for the first effort in 2023, but managed to put in a promising performance that bodes well for the future. One of the biggest surprises came from Peugeot, who surpassed all expectations with their performance, hitting at an exciting future of endurance racing. In the end, the 2023 edition of Le Mans of the 24 Hours of Le Mans, didn't just serve as a race, but a testament to human endeavor and the pursuit of excellence. It was a celebration of resilience, determination, and the spirit of motorsport, embodying all the reasons why we love racing. Ferrari's triumphant return only adds to the rich tapestry of Le Mans history, marking a victory that will be talked about for generations to come. So, basically, the main focus had been on the hypercar category and especially Ferrari's battle. So, Moving on to the news part, as we said. In the 2024 season, the FIA World Endurance Championship will be consolidated into two classes according to an announcement made by the Automobile Club de West and FIA. The LMP2 category will be discontinued from the championship with the exception of the Le Mans races. This development comes on the heels of a meeting involving WEC CEO. As part of the changes, the LMP2 category will be withdrawn from the championship in 2024 due to in part to the expansion of the hypercar category with upcoming entries from brands such as Alpine, BMW, Lamborghini and Isotta Francini. Concurrently, the introduction of the LMGT3 class will take place, replacing GTE Amateur class. ACO's president stated, "The decisions we make are a reflection of our success." He affirmed that the LMP2 category would still hold the top spot in both the European Le Mans Series and Asian Le Mans Series. While LMP2 cars won't be allowed to participate in the full WEC season, there will be provisions for 15 slots in the Le Mans 24-hour race, specifically for teams participating in the European Le Mans Series, Asian Le Mans Series and IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship with LMP2 cars. This change signifies the conclusion of all original categories from the FIA WEC's debut season in 2012, which included categories for LMP1, 2, GT Pro and GT Amateur. The WEC will now be streamlined to only two full season categories for the first time, namely Hypercar and LMGT3. Richard Mille, president of the FIA Endurance Commission, revealed plans for the LMGT3 class to be dedicated to pro-amateur teams. He specifically stated, "GT is at the core of Le Mans. We will place emphasis on our gentleman drivers who are integral to the WEC." That pretty much concludes today's podcast. I think, Panos, we mainly focused on Ferrari and the race because this was the main battle. Over at the FIA WEC website, you can see the final places that everyone took in all three classes. So, Panos, would you like to comment on anything aside Ferrari's win at Le Mans? I think no. Ferrari won.
Ferrari won, that's all.
Since we are getting our butts kicked in Formula 1, let's celebrate it in Le Mans at least. So, we look forward to seeing you on our next podcast for WEC when the race of Monza comes in July. Next week we will continue with our podcast coverage of the Grand Prix race in Formula 1. I think we have Canada now, if I'm not mistaken, right, Panos? I think Canada is next.
I think so, yes.
Yes. It's late. We wanted to bring you the podcast as soon as possible, so excuse any mistakes we made. It was also a lot of notes to go through. It was quite a challenge, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one. Till then, please leave us a comment if you watched the race, if you followed it over the 24 hours, and for what team were you rooting for. Till then, have a great day or night. Bye bye.